Hello and welcome to this lecture where we are going to be deploying a script. And this script is to create bulk Active Directory users in our Active Directory. Now, the scripting that's involved in this is highly technical and it's not something that I would be taking my time to go through into detail. What's best practice if you're a beginner is to have someone that had already created a script. Don't try to reinvent the wheel, and follow their step-by-step guidance and try replicating whatever way they have done it. And then if you have experience or if you have some gremlins and you're able to fix them, then you learn along, because those scripts is something that you would use only once in a while, and if you're good at how to implement it, that would save your worth. So in today's video, we have a specific script that is going to be used for this demonstration. I'll leave these resources attached to the course, the specific lecture video for this. And if you've been following along, you can just go with it. So if you want to create a bulk, first things first, if you want to create a bulk users account, what you want to do is you want to make sure that you have a CSV that has all the information about the new users. So I'm just going to open this with Excel, and it's not showing here. Let's see if I have it open here. 1 second. If I have it on my host, yeah. So this is the Excel that you'll be creating. So you have all the columns that contains information that you would be using. So you have first name, last name, job title, email address, description, the OUs. You can see that each OU has specific OU that I want every specific user to go to. So for instance, this IT support fella is going to go to the ICT department OU, and I've made sure that all the spellings are correct. And we also have all these that has to do with the account status, whether we want them to be enabled or disabled. And we have this default password, we have a default office phone, and this default employee IDs. So I basically lifted this template from Server Academy. It's the guide I normally follow when it comes to automations like this. So I just tweaked it and made it like, well, while I was playing around with it to make it like sort of my own. But the source is actually from Server Academy. The whole content is going to be from Server Academy. So this is basically your CSV file that has all the information that you want. And you want to make sure that that is saved on your server, wherever you'll be running the script. So on the server, when I go to my drive C, I have the new users here. It's a CSV file. And so I have all the information that I want. And now we need to create a script. Now, to do with the script, I have the script from Server Academy, and so this is the script basically. So I am just going to copy this and keep it in this folder. So I have it here. Okay, I'm going to come out of this. So we have the script that contains all the information that we need. So when I open the script, you can see that it has all this information about the steps. We'll be copying them one by one to just build a script ourselves, and then at the end we'll run the script and hopefully it would create the users in those CSVs. So I'm going to keep this open. So we have the script. So if you're a system administrator and you will be doing this every now and often, if you have the script handy, you have it saved on your server, or you have it handy all you need to do is to have a CSV that's created in a specific format that can be used with the script. And that's all the automation you need when it comes to creating users in bulk. So I have the script open. I'm just going to minimize this. I'll close this. Now, in order to run the creating users in bulk script, you need to open your Windows PowerShell ISE. In this platform, you have, this is the scripting tool. This is where you're going to put all the commands all into one container, and then you run it, and then it would execute the command. Now, the first thing you want to do first is to save this script to, say, I'll call it extraction new users, but then it needs to be a .ps1 file extension, and I'll save it at my root of C because the script references the root of C path. So I'll click save. So we have it here. So now all we need to do is we have our CSV file there, and we have ISE running, and then we have the script component that we'll be copying over. So step one, what we want to do here is we want to basically copy all of these steps one by one, and then in the end we would have a compiled script and then would run it. So step one, we're just going to copy all of this, including all the notes, because it's good documentation, it's good practice to have documentations within your script. So I have this pasted, and then this will go down one line, 2 lines for instance, and then we would copy the second step, so this is basically making sure that we are having all the necessary modules, all the repositories that PowerShell needs to be able to give the output that we want it to give. So like for instance, as we're explaining in the other lectures, like, you know, the import module ActiveDirectory would give it all the necessary repositories so that whatever command you give it to relate into ActiveDirectory, it will give you the output. So that's the first part that we've copied. So the first part of the script will make sure that it has all the repositories needed to output whatever the script is going to be demanding. So the next step is to do with pasting this section that has to do with creating the open file dialog. So this is the part where you want the script to be able to tell you, to give you the option to choose where you want to select the CSV file. So you know when you're trying to upload a document or something, and you click on upload, and then a dialog box opens, and then you can select the folder you want to select. That's what that function of the script is about. That's the step that we just copied. And then from that, what we can do is we can test, at this point we can test it we can test the script to see if at this point when we run the script, does it give us the functionality up to that step where we are able to choose? Does it give us a prompt to choose a specific file? So I'll just run this. Yeah, it gives us, so I just run the script up to that point, and it gives us the option to choose the information that we want to select. So the script is working so far up to the point where it's now asking you to give me the CSV, right? So now what we want to do is we want to select this and click open, and basically that's how you want it to behave, right? So the script is still in testing form, and it's not something, it hasn't gotten to the part where you're creating the user yet. So I'll just click this and click open and see what happens. Nothing happens, obviously, but if there was a problem, it will throw up some tantrums. So at least we know up to this point the script is working. It's working up to the point where it allows us to choose the CSV file. So the next part of the script we need to focus on talks about importing the file contents. Obviously, that's a logical next step. And to do that, you want to copy the script, this part of the script, and I'll paste it here. Now this part of the script is after you've gone through the dialog and you've selected the CSV, which has the formatted information that you're looking for. You then now want to import the file contents, the things that are within the CSV. And after importing the contents, what you want to make sure is you want to make sure that you're iterating over columns and lines. You want to make sure that everything within the contents are sort of in an array of objects that we can use and access each column or every line. Like the content needs to be in a way that anything within the contents, anything within the file can be gotten access to. If it's the number of characters we're looking for, if it's a specific character number, was a ninth character on this line, we should be able to make sure that the script can find it. That's the essence of that bit of the script. So I'm just going to copy that and then paste. And this is the password bit where we're basically creating some sort of default password that is going to be a combination of strings. For instance, we want the password to be the first name, the first initial of the username, the first name, combined with the first initial of the last name, combined with the employee ID, and then some special characters at the end as plain text, right? So now that we have gotten to specifying what we want the password to be, we want it to be a secure string. The final part of the script is we have done the import, we have given it all the information it needs. Now we need to give the actual command that would go ahead and take those information from the CSV and proceed with creating the ActiveDirectory, which is part of the script. So I'm just going to copy this as well, paste it in this, and then after we create the user, there are certain things that we need to make sure that the CSV content is being fully consumed. For instance, the part that has to do with groups. So there's a column in the CSV that specifies what groups the users should be added to. And this is the part of the script that makes sure that all that information is adhered to when it comes to groups. I'm just going to copy and paste that as well. And this is the final bit, which is just the output that gives us information about success when the script is fully complete. I'm just going to save this. So now we have the script. We've only run it once when we're testing to see if does it ask for the dialog. So we have all the steps and we have everything put in place from the beginning to the end. And now we are at the point where when we run the script, it will go ahead and create the users, and it would put the users in the right OUs, it will put the users in the right groups. So, and it will set the default password according to the combinations we set it to. The only downside of this would be if there's any problems, it will probably be maybe I got some spelling mistakes wrong, and maybe in my OUs or in my Excel file or in my CSV file. So I'm just going to minimize this, and we would make this bigger. And I would just double check the script again. Password, create user, if groups. Yeah, so that's basically it. So all we now do is we would run the script. And then it should ask us for the users, which is the CSV. So click open. And then I am getting this error. You cannot call a method on null valued expression. Okay. But let's see what has happened so far for all of these. At least I would just go to my Active Directory users and computers and see if we have anyone that's created. So we have this account in the ICT department. So I'm just going to open that Excel again. I think I still have it open. Okay. And I'm just going to click this data filter. And let's say we have all that is IT support. So we have these two guys as IT support, and they're in this OU. So the OU is ICT department. So when I go to ICT department, we have this guy, and we have Gerard PK. We have Gerard PK as well. But Gerard PK was enabled. This guy wasn't enabled. And let's see, what other one can we look at? Let's see, developer. How many? We have two, Robert Nero, Tyler Timber. So I would go back to developers department. We have Robert Nero, Tyler Timber, and the descriptions are there. I have Kyle Jung as well. He's a software engineer. This account is enabled and disabled. Okay, that makes sense. Go back to this. I think I'd include software engineer. Yeah, so that's him. And we have sales executive. We have just one person. So I'm just going to minimize this. And we have, okay, 1, 2, 3. So I think there's more. So sales and marketing specialist. Okay, yeah, 1, 2, 3. Okay. So that looks like they have been created, but there were some anomalies. For instance, so the script occurred, the script run, and the users in general have all been created. But then what we are seeing as some error, I think it has something to do with the password. You can call it a null value expression. Okay, so these are some of the gremlins. But as far as creating the accounts in bulk is concerned, and they being in the right OUs, I'd say that has been a success. And the other thing I could think of would be if I was looking for the groups, were they added to the groups, the users who were supposed to be in groups. So we have these groups. So we're just going to double check these groups to see if were they added to those groups. So I would go back to, so let me just pick this one. So we have domain admins. Just going to minimize this. Would go to users. We'll find domain admins. Members. No, they were not added. Domain admins was not added. What other group is there? DNS admins. DNS admins, members. So they were not added as well, which is grand. So this is just something to demonstrate when it comes to bulk creating using a script. Obviously, I'm using some documented process. It's not like I built a script myself. I haven't gotten to that level of technicality yet. But this goes into just having the confidence and understanding how and what it takes to follow a process that has been documented and to achieve some results and to see how you can make it your own. What I can do is, at least we have some accounts. Actually, those accounts that were disabled actually has to do with the fact that some of the accounts that we created, we actually specify that they need to be disabled. So when we click false, so about 4 of these, all these guys, probably that's the reason why their accounts were disabled. Yeah. So the only thing about the groups not being working, I said that's the only outlier. If I just go back to these groups, for instance, DNS admins, members, member of. If I go back to the script and I take note of what they actually said about the groups. So let's say, one sec, I'm just gonna go to the groups. So if groups is not null, then iterate over groups if anywhere specified, and add user to groups. If user is having this string not equal, split. I think there must be something to do with log to console, obviously, so we can get the logs and understand why they didn't. Anyway, so that's all to do with this video. Obviously, if you wanted to go and then find out all the members, all the information of people that are disabled and stuff like that, you can always use PowerShell to then find all those users. So now that we have this amount of users created, you can go to normal PowerShell and you can use the get ActiveDirectory, and what we want to do is just like the other commands we tried in get user, and we want to filter, and then we want all properties. We want everything to do with filter. Then we'll give the properties switch, and we want everything in that as well. Then we want to pipe this to only give us specific information like select, probably name, and when created. Obviously it would be today's date, and let's say enabled, true or false. So just this quick return, and we have about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we have a 6 that's not enabled. So we have all these new users, and you can see all of them. And you can view this, or you can pipe this into a CSV, or you can view this as something to do with, let me see if we can just pop this out. You can pipe this into OGB. Yeah. And then you can filter, say, enabled, and stuff like that. Okay, so that's all to do with creating users in bulk, and I'm going to leave all the resources in addition to this video, and if you want to play along, that'd be grand. And if anyone has more technical knowledge about things like this, they can drop their comments in the community forum, or they could text me on LinkedIn. And I'll see you in the next video. Thanks.